Have you ever stopped to think that maybe your house is trying to tell you something? I'm not talking about creaks and groans in the middle of the night, but a different language. A language of flickers, buzzes, and yeah, even strange smells. Today, we're going to decode what your home's electrical system might be shouting at you, and trust me, it's really important to listen. So, just take a second and think about your own place. Have you noticed little things that just seem a bit off? Maybe you've gotten so used to them, you just brush them off. Oh, that's just a quirk of this old house. But what if it's more than that? What if those aren't quirks at all? I bet some of these look pretty familiar. You know what I'm talking about. The lights that dim for a second when the air conditioner kicks on, or that one circuit breaker that trips without fail if you dare to run the microwave and the coffee maker at the same time. Maybe you've heard that faint buzzing from your electrical panel, and that weird, fishy, burning smell. That's a classic sign of plastic and wiring getting way too hot. These aren't just little annoyances, these are basically warning flares from behind your walls. And that's really the heart of it. We can't just write these off as minor inconveniences. They're symptoms. They're telltale signs that your entire system is under some serious stress, that it's overloaded or maybe even failing. Ignoring them is kind of like putting a piece of tape over the check engine light in your car. Sooner or later, that problem is going to demand your attention, and it probably won't be at a convenient time. So, what is this deeper issue? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look behind the drywall at the actual components that are sending out these SOS signals, and we're going to start with the absolute heart of the system. Right, your electrical panel, the breaker box. Think of it as the command center for all the electricity in your house. It takes that big feed of power from the street and splits it up, sending it out to all the different circuits for your lights, your outlets, your big appliances. But its most important job, its number one job, is safety. It's designed to shut off the power if a circuit gets dangerously overloaded. But what happens when that safety feature just doesn't work? This is where it gets scary. Certain older panels, especially brands like Federal Pacific and Zinsco that were installed in tons of homes, have a well-documented and dangerous history. Their breakers sometimes just fail to trip when they're supposed to. The circuit gets overloaded, the wires start to glow red hot, and you have a massive fire risk. Modern panels, on the other hand, are built to a much higher standard and are designed to work reliably every single time. And the panel is just one piece of the puzzle. If your home was built between about 1965 and 1973, there's a chance it has aluminum wiring. The trouble with aluminum is that it expands and contracts differently than copper, which causes connections to loosen up over time, and a loose connection creates sparks and heat, a perfect recipe for a fire. Plus, a lot of older homes are missing the safety nets we take for granted today, like GFCI outlets that prevent electric shock and AFCI breakers that stop fires before they can start. So you might be thinking, okay, but this stuff worked just fine for 50 years. Why is it a problem all of a sudden? And that is the perfect question. The answer has everything to do with how much our lives and our need for power have changed. This table just says it all, doesn't it? Look at the 1960s. The biggest power draws were a fridge, a TV, and a toaster. That's it. Now look at today. We've got central air, electric vehicle chargers, home offices with multiple computers and monitors, smart home systems, security cameras. The list just goes on and on. We are trying to plug our 21st century lives into a 20th century system. And here's the number that really tells the story. Most of those older homes were built with a total service of just 60, maybe 100 amps for the whole house. To put that in perspective, a single fast EV charger can pull almost 50 amps all by itself. The math just doesn't work. It's not enough. So here's the takeaway. It's not that your electrical system is necessarily broken. It's that it's being asked to do a job it was never, ever designed for. Those flickering lights and tripping breakers, that's your system screaming that it's being pushed way beyond its safe limits. Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. It's a big one. But the good news is there are clear, safe, established solutions to bring your home's electrical system into the 21st century. The absolute cornerstone of any modern electrical upgrade is swapping out that old panel for a new 200 amp service. That gives you the raw capacity you need for modern life. Then you've got whole house surge protection to guard all your expensive electronics. And of course, the specific safety gear, GFCI outlets in kitchens and baths to prevent shock, and AFCI breakers to stop fires caused by damaged wiring. And finally, dedicated circuits for the big stuff, your car charger, your new induction stove, so they have all the power they need without starving the rest of the house. Now, I really want you to hear this next part because it is so important. This is absolutely not a weekend DIY project. As this quote makes crystal clear, any electrical work done without the proper permits is a huge gamble. It can create massive liability for you as the homeowner, and worst of all, if that unpermitted work leads to a fire, your insurance company could have grounds to deny your claim entirely. So, when you do make that call to an electrician, what should you expect? This shouldn't be some mysterious process. A real professional is going to follow a clear, transparent series of steps, and you should know what those are. And it really just comes down to these three things. First, they diagnose. A real pro isn't just going to treat the symptom, they're going to inspect the whole system to find the root cause. Second, they do the work, the professional installation, using quality parts and following all the safety codes. And third, and this is key, they test and document everything. They'll make sure it all works perfectly and then hand you all the paperwork, the permits, the warranties, so you have it for your records. And this is how you protect yourself. Before you let anyone touch your wiring, just run through this quick checklist. Are they properly licensed? Did they give you a clear, written estimate with no surprises? Are they pulling the required permits, not you? And what kind of warranty do they offer on their work? Any reputable electrician will be happy to check every single one of these boxes. So, that brings us right back to where we started. All those flickers, all those buzzes, those breakers that trip, they aren't random. It's a language. It's your house trying to tell you something important. So the real question is, what is your home trying to say? And are you ready to finally listen?